Yeah, Catherine, neighbors tell me they want this space to be accessible to everyone and not a park that drives people away due to concerns around violence. They say small things like picking up trash to big efforts with city partners will help make this neighborhood feel like home again.
If we don't start here, what's that mean for the rest of Portland?
The Mount Scott Neighborhood Association tells me small community steps are making changes. In the wake of reckless driving and a spike in shootings, this group wanted to show strength in numbers.
You can't allow this to be an empty space. That's where unsafe antisocial behaviors happen. So it's important everyone keeps showing up, picking up trash, calling in concerns to the city, letting the county officials too know about their public safety concerns.
Some neighbors say after watching violence rise over the summer, crowds like this started shrinking, and many people chose to stay at home.
Folks have been leaving the parks a lot earlier. It kind of feels like a curfew, like an informal curfew, and it's shrinking the time that folks have to use the park, including ourselves.
The Neighborhood Association worked with PBOT and city commissioners to add traffic barriers this week with the goal of slowing down drivers and improving safety.
The reckless driving and gunfire violence is enabled by just a lack of traffic calming. And so traffic calming is key to this whole project. Increased lighting too, as well as surveillance, so community events, park rangers, all the above.
The association chair tells me he understands some people are critical of this new step, and he's hopeful for more progress in the months ahead.
It's going to take a multitude of different tools to solve this issue, and this isn't a single solution, but it's a start.
PBOT plans to bring in 18 additional traffic barriers around Mount Scott Park later this week. I did speak with neighbors about the changes they noted just in the last few days since those barriers went up. Yeah, Catherine, neighbors filled this space today and told me this was an effort to reclaim the park and make it safe for families again. This comes after some people noticed a decline in park goers, which they believe is tied to nearby shootings and reckless driving. Nadine Salama tells me since this neighborhood started seeing a rise in gun violence over the summer, more people were living in fear. We heard from multiple families who say they avoided the park during the evenings.
These are the kids that are hearing the gunfire. These are the people that are being terrorized, and we want to show them that they play here, we live here, and we need our neighborhood back.
This week, the Neighborhood Association partnered with PBOT and city commissioners. Traffic barriers went up around the park in an effort to slow drivers down.
It's been a lot quieter. Traffic and racing on 72nd has slowed down quite a bit. I do not believe we've had any shootings in the last 3 days. So that's a win in our book.
Moving forward, Salama says neighbors are looking at tools like more lighting, surveillance cameras, and security. She tells us this is just the first step in improving safety for the neighborhood. Neighbors tell me ultimately they hope to change traffic patterns in this area. In the meantime, PBOT plans to add 18 more barriers later this week.
Today we're here to support the players, to make sure that the players know that we believe them.
Instead of cheering on the team during a game, they cheered on players' bravery outside Providence Park. The rally comes just days after players accused a former coach of coercing them into sexual acts. K2's Allison Mechanic joins us live from Providence Park tonight. And Allison, this has got to be having an impact, especially on younger players.
Yeah, Catherine, absolutely. There were a lot of families that came out to this rally, and they were all right here in front of the stadium. And as you said, there was about more than 100 people out here. When we were talking to parents and young children that were out here at the rally, they tell us that they support the players while they're on the field, and they wanted to continue to do that today. All National Women's Soccer League games were canceled on Saturday after allegations against the former Thorns coach were made public. According to the North Carolina Courage, Coach Paul Riley, who was the Thorns coach for 2 years, was fired this week after an article by The Athletic detailed alleged sexual coercion acts by Riley towards 2 former Thorns players.
When I read the article, I was just overcome with anger.
Heartbroken. This is absolutely devastated.
So while games were canceled, fans rallied outside of Providence Park Stadium to show their support for the Thorns. With chants, signs, and even red and black smoke, they called for the league to make changes to keep players safe.
Well, I just thought that it was really horrible that that the system allowed this to happen and allowed coaches to continue to coach.
The calls for change made at the rally also called for some difficult conversations with young Thorns fans like Adelaide Holden, who came to the rally with her family after hearing about what happened.
It's really disappointing and upsetting, for her. She looks up to all these players, and to hear that they weren't taken care of is upsetting, and we want better for her and better for them. So we just talked to her about it because we want her to know what's going on and for her to be informed and understand.
So while it's a different conversation than the one the family usually has while watching the Thorns, Holden believes these cheers are even more important than the ones on game day.
I just want to thank them for being able to come out and speak for so many people who aren't able to.
And in that article by The Athletic, Coach Riley says that these allegations are completely untrue. If you would like to see the statements that were released by the Portland Thorns as well as the National Women's Soccer League, head over to our website, KATU.com. Well, Deb, this money is still in the state's possession, but a lot of it should have been in the hands of Oregonians. All eyes were focused on September 30th. That was when a large portion of this money had to be given out. But as we turn the page to October 1st, only $70 million was given out to Oregonians in need. So we asked the state, what are they doing to get it into people's hands now? It's the 1st of October, and all across the state, people are unable to pay their rent again. For months, Oregonians have been waiting for more than $204 million from the federal government. More than $100 million of it was supposed to be handed out through Oregon Housing and Community Services by September 30th. The deadline has passed, with barely $70 million given out.
This isn't like a tenant-landlord, confrontation. This is really a failure of government, action in making it happen. An urgency. So I think people are very stressed about it.
Ron Garcia with Rental Housing Alliance Oregon has been telling landlords to hold on. But with each month that passes, that becomes harder.
Landlords have been have gone through a lot of hoops and filled out lots of applications. Tenants are sweating bullets.
Executive Director Margaret Salazar admits the state wasn't completely prepared to handle the influx of federal money. She says they've added more resources to help. What else are you all doing to make sure that these dollars get out the door sooner rather than later? Because people really are hurting.
We're focused right now on processing the applications that are in the system. So many Oregonians have raised their hand and sort of done their work of submitting the application. So a couple of things that we're doing. We have dedicated staff that are helping folks to complete incomplete applications to make sure that their applications are fully complete.
Salazar has a 3-point plan for tackling the issue. Step 1, streamlining the application process. Step 2, using an outside vendor to help get completed applications processed. And Step 3, increasing the number of applications processed to 2,000 to 3,000 a week.
If all of our vendors and local program administrators can meet those targets, we can get through the majority of applications in 6 to 9 weeks.
But will it be too late?
If the money doesn't disappear, and it takes until March 1st, 2022 for it to get spent out, it will be okay. I mean, not to everybody. There's still a lot of people that are just upside down and have to leave or, frustrated.
We also asked the state if this meant that any money was left on the table. Could we have gotten more from the federal government if we did hit the September 30th deadline? Salazar tells us that that's not the case. And in fact, she believes we'll be getting more money in the coming months. And of course, we'll be keeping track of that.